Unity! Let's be welcome to the stage, the Renaissance woman. And keep clapping until she gets over here.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello! I'm the Renaissance woman, and I'm going to do two relatively short poems, which is usually my style. And they're both entitled. And I'm not going to use the mic. It's funny. You don't know how low you've hit until you find yourself crying on the ground. You don't know how pathetic this is until you start to feel sympathy for yourself. You don't understand the magnitude of love until you can't think of anything else. Until you start to build words around memories you couldn't place on the shelf. Until you can't think of anyone else. You have never been in love. I was in love once. The kind of love you dressed yourself in despite there being clothes in the closet because nothing felt as warm as this. The kind of love you remember emitting rays back to the sun because she had all the light you needed, and if they weren't truths written on her skin, you had no need to read it. The kind of love that left you with no choice but to feel it. But that kind of love doesn't last. It's like blowing glass, and once she takes her shape, the only way to change is to make her crack, and we all know that things don't work if they're broken. But we still try. And though love renders us blind, we were born with two eyes, and no one's ever drowned in the puddles they've cried. See, normally what's wrong for you is what makes you feel right, and you made left feel like right and right the other way around, up feel like down. You were a piece of heaven that got smeared on the ground. She asked me to listen, asked me to open my ears like doors. She wanted me to hear her in her whisper. She wanted me to know what she meant before she said it. Wanted me to bend my body in the shapes her mouth would take when she would speak. She wanted me to know what it felt like to not be heard, to stand in an empty room and have your echo ignore you. She didn't want me to stand out. Wanted me to know what it felt like to be the sky and not the star. To have traveled so long and still be so far. She wanted me to know what it felt like to be everyone else. To get tripped up by racial divides and figure out you can't quite dig underneath color lines. She wanted me to know it was never about time. She said they don't listen to girls that match the color of street corners. Said they associate lies with a nose being too wide, and for some reason you can never wash off the appearance of crime. She said black is never in style and it's always the wrong size. And all the depictions of heaven are built in white. And our people, we resemble a sunset, not a sunrise. She asked me to listen. Asked me to hear the ratio of children crying to a mother's eyes. To trace along the lines of things that didn't go right. To understand that for her, this was every night. And someone somewhere needs to start the fight. Woo!